Hello, global teachers. Okay, so today we're going to look at something that is for math, but it's also fun. So, a lot of you that know me know I like to have fun. I think it's important to have fun in the classroom for the students and the teachers. So, this is a great way to do math and to have some enjoyment while you're doing it. But we all know anytime you hand students something like this, there could be problems. So, to make it fun for you and for them, classroom management is a really big part of this. And so, let's spend some time talking about classroom management with these cards, and then we're going to look at some activities. Okay, so now we're ready. These are Phase 10 cards. You can also use Uno cards. I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference. I think I prefer Uno cards, but this was what I have at my house. And so I will mention Uno cards, but I want to talk to you about the difference. So both decks of cards have 8, 2 of every color, 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 yellows. The difference is Phase 10, the lowest number is 1, and it goes all the way to 12. So I often don't use the 10, 11, and 12 in a Phase 10. Uno has a 0, and it goes all the way to 9. Well, 0 to 9 are the numbers that we use as digits for every number in the world. You can build any number with them. So that's kind of why I like the Uno cards. They have the same amount. They just go from 0 to 9, whereas these go from 1 to 12. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some things you can do. You've talked about the classroom management, the things you want to tell your students before. Let's start with a little bit younger students, things that are easy. You could always give them these mixed up, spread them out, and ask them to put them in order and maybe count as they do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a few of them here. 6, 7. So you can do that, have them count. If you have a document camera, just doing this in front of the students is a bright visual for them. If you had Uno cards, you could put the 0 here, and then it's kind of fun to use this like a timeline. So you could pull the 0 card down and then skip 1, pull the 2, skip 1, pull the 4, skip, pull 6, and continue on, and these are counting by twos. 0, 2, 4, 6, and they can see how that works. Or simply use it as a number line. 3 plus 2. So you start with 3, hop 1, 2, that equals 5. Or backwards for subtraction. So those are just some easy things that you can do. Okay, so maybe moving on to something a little more advanced. When you have these Phase 10 or Uno, you always have all of these. I take these out first. But I did take one of those cards and I just taped a piece on here to make a greater than or less than. You probably also want to have an equal, so you could have 2 of them. So if I was working with partners, that's why these are nice. You only, you can work with partners and do things. If you don't have enough cards for everybody, you could split one set, for 2 separate partners. But I'm going to do it this way. Mix them up just slightly. You've gone over your classroom management. You've told the students and you've modeled for them. If you have a document camera, you can kind of do it the way I'm doing it right now. But you can talk about partner 1 and partner 2. And both partners will turn their card over. And then whoever's turn it is, say it's partner 1 would move this to show and read the number sentence. 8 is greater than 7. We always read from left to right. So you're not going to read from 7 is less than 8. We're going to read it the correct way. And so they can keep doing that. Then it's partner two's turn. And when you work with two people, the chances are that they get it correct is pretty good because one person's doing it, the second person is approving it. So they would do 4 less than 6. So then as you move it up a little bit, you can tell them to turn over 2 cards. One for the tens place, one for the ones place. Tens place, oh goodness. Oh, wow. Ones place. 56 is greater than 54. Now, normally, it probably would come out more like, let me do it this way, like this. And I always ask my students, how do you know that 56 is less than 64? And they should be able to say to me, I look at the biggest place value, and 6 is greater than 5. Or 5 is less than 6. Now, when you get to this, they're going to have to say, I look at the greatest value, and they're the same. So I go to the next value over, and 6 is greater than 4. So they should be able to explain it to you. So you can do a lot of comparing numbers. You can do up to 3 digits. Oh, I mean, not up to 3 digits. After you get more than that, it starts getting a little more confusing, but they could do as many digits as you want them to. And just sitting, and you have partners all around the room doing comparing. So think about it. In a 15-minute activity, they will probably do this comparing a number maybe 30 times. That's hard to get them to do 30 problems. Now, you might ask them, maybe after they've practiced, say, I want you to do 5 more, and I want you to write these on paper after you do them. So they would flip their cards over, and then they would answer it. And then they would write on their paper, 48 is less than 76. That's number 1. And both of them will have done it. So that gives a little more accountability to them. Okay? Kind of along those same lines, when you have 2 partners, they play the game War. So if you're familiar with that, they both flip them over, and you tell them what function they are doing. Maybe it's addition. The first one to say it gets both of the cards. So they add them. So they have to flip at the same time. They have to say it at the same time. This has got a lot of classroom management. You'd probably have to walk around and stop a few people, or put them into groups of 3. One person is the judge, and the other 2 are the players. And like I said, you're probably going to have to take it away from a few students until they learn to do it correctly. They flip it over, 15. Whoever says it gets the cards. And they get pretty good and they don't even have to be right side up, but it helps. And they add them together, or they multiply them together. Subtraction is sometimes a little harder because they have to remember to subtract the bigger number from the lesser number. But as your students get older, they can do that. All right. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do with the students is I give them 1 deck of cards, usually for 2 people, because I only want 1 person working on this. And I have them take the top 3, and I say, now that you have the top 3, make the greatest number you can make. So if you have a place value chart, they might do it this way. Oh, I'm going to choose different. Oh, I got to take 11, 10, 11, 12 out. It should only be up to 9. I'm not used to that being in here. I got a 1, 2, and 3, so I'm going to switch one of these out of here. Okay, so this is what I have. So they should go like this: 9, 3, 9, 3, 1. 931 is the greatest number I can make out of those 3. And I always say, how did you determine to do that? Well, biggest number needs to go in the greatest place value, and so on. So then you can even do the war like this. Make the greatest number you can out of 3. Your partner makes the greatest number out of 3. Put your greater than or less than symbol in it. So that's good. If you give them a whole set, you can have them build a number. I would like for everyone to put, or partners, maybe one of them's doing it and one's watching, I'd like for you to put a 5 in the tens place. Now, this one says tens, so this is going to be much easier. A 1 in the hundreds place, and a 7 in the ones place. And what number do we have? But then if you want to take this away, after you've done that a few times, then they should be able to do it like this. A 7 in the tens place, a 5 in the ones place, a 1 in the hundreds place. And they should be able to do it without. So making those place values is another great way. There's so many things that you can do with these cards, and they're fun. If you are part of a mission group, or you have a mission group that comes to you, or that is even nearby, that brings in missionary teams, if you will ask them for sets of Uno cards, they usually always bring in a set of cards anyway. They use it to play games at night after they get back to wherever it is they're staying, and they would be happy to leave them there. But they also would bring probably a couple of extra sets and leave them for your classrooms. So if you know a ministry, you might ask them if they would begin to bring some sets of Uno cards, if that's what you want, or the Phase 10 cards. But I would always ask for the same kind. So have fun with your math. Your students will have fun, and you will have them doing way more math problems than they would if they were just writing them down. Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. I pray for a joyful heart for you, and that you create that joyful experience for your students.